Welcome to Business Over a Brew, the show where we talk business with some of the Riverbend's most interesting and influential business people, all while enjoying a nice brew at the Great Rivers Tap and Grill inside the Best Western Premier Hotel in Alton. In this episode, we'll talk with Chris Lorton from George's Local Brew. Chris owns over 50 properties, a successful construction company, and now a successful restaurant. He'll tell us how opening George's has brought the family closer together and how the menu has developed and evolved over time. It's the Business Over a Brew podcast from the Great Rivers Tap and Grill in Alton. Welcome to Business Over a Brew. I'm your host, Nick Darr. Pleased to be joined in this episode by Chris Lorton from George's Local Brew.
Hey,
Chris,
Nick.
thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Let's start. We usually start with most of our guests with just tell us a little bit about yourself, where'd you grow up, a little bit about your background.
I grew up in Hardin, Illinois, and I graduated from Eastern Illinois University, and I taught for several years.
Okay.
And,
What grade?
high school and grade school also. And I coached basketball and football. I was in about five different schools. I did that for about 7 years. And
So
then
Calhoun County, what high school did you go to then? Was it
in
did you go to Calhoun, or
in
did
Calhoun,
you go to?
there's two schools in Calhoun, Calhoun High School and Brussels High School. Both of them, I think at that time, we had like 350 at Calhoun. I think Brussels had 90. So small population.
Sure. Yeah.
there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And
So what got you out of the teaching profession then?
what got me out of it? I'm kind of a workaholic, and I was working really hard, but it's hard to move up the pay scale. I just kind of, I kind of got to the point where, shoot, if I'm gonna work this hard, I need to be in business for myself.
Right.
So I decided to go into the bar business, and I bought a bar over in Jerseyville, and then a year later I traded up, and I bought an old hotel that was about 100 years old, renovated that, and turned it into a restaurant, bar, nightclub,
Okay.
and a hotel. And we operated that. My wife and I, Brenda, operated for 12 years, and then we ended up getting out of that business, and I fell back. I tried to go back into teaching, but I was so, I had extra mouths to feed. We had 4 kids.
Right.
And again, it was right back. I couldn't make enough money, so I ended up going into the construction business because I grew up in the construction business. Our family had been in the construction business since '62, so that was easy for me to make money. So I'd been in the construction business after 12 years after 7 years teaching, 12 years in the restaurant, bar, hotel business. And then since then, I've been 20 years in the construction business. I'm starting to tell how old I am. If the gray hair doesn't let you know.
4 kids. I mean, by the way, we should drink to being in the 4 kid club. That's
is that right? Yeah,
that's
there
a
you
rare
go.
club right there, a crazy club maybe. So you're still in the construction business as well, right?
Yep. And in the construction business, I found myself looking for down and out properties, and I would buy them, properties that nobody wanted, and then I would turn them into cash flowing properties, either houses, commercial buildings, etc. And so in doing so, I accumulated about 50 so far. So
Okay, so you've got 50 properties right now?
Mm-hmm.
Is that how you came across George's as well?
Exactly. I was looking for and the reason I pick up properties is to keep my my guys working in the wintertime. So we pick up a property, something we could get inside and work and reno it, and then they'd have 3 months inside where we could work. So we've just been doing that for 20 years. And actually, I was looking for a property had no business, no intentions of getting back into the restaurant bar business, because restaurant bar business is a lot of work.
Right.
I mean, it's more work than construction business. So
And lower margins.
yeah, lower margins. So I had a realtor that I saw a property, and I said, hey, how about this property? And she goes, up, got a contract on it. She goes, but I got something else I'd like you to look at. I go, what's that? She goes, the old Eagles Club. And I go, nah, I'm not interested in that. She goes, oh, just look at it. You can buy it cheap. It's got good bones. Well, she hit me on the cheap part, you know.
Yeah, that spoke to you, huh?
Yeah, it spoke to me. I was like, okay, I'll look at it. So I looked at it. Never been in the place before. Lived in town for 30 years, you know. Never been in there. And when I walked in the door, I'm kind of a visual guy, you know. I see things, you know, just with buildings, you know.
Right. Yeah.
So I go, wow, I like this space. This is a cool space. I mean, it looked terrible, you know. I mean, it was.
Most people would walk in and say no.
Yeah, I mean, look, no, it was.
Right.
It was in bad shape, but I liked it. It was a shotgun look, you know, kitchen and back, and I kind of visualized. I'm like, I kind of like that. So I had my wife, I had her look at it because I knew she'd turn it down and we'd be gone. And she looked at it and she goes, yeah, I think it's got potential. I go, okay, I'll make them an offer. I know they'll refuse, and I'll go on my way. I do due diligence. I always try to make an offer,
Sure.
okay? Because
They
you
might
never
say
know.
yes.
They might say yes. I always make an offer. That's how come I got 50, because I just always make an offer.
Right, yeah.
So I make an offer, and I'll be darned if they take it. You know, I'm like, okay.
Now what?
So now what? So I had the property, and I didn't know what I was going to do with it. Didn't know. Really wasn't planning on doing a restaurant bar in it. But
Did you have any idea what you might do with it?
well,
Did you have other ideas besides a
well,
restaurant?
I thought maybe I could turn it into a commercial space that I could lease, or like an office space, a store or something that I could lease. Or maybe a restaurant bar and lease it or flip it, you know, but I wasn't planning on keeping it. But then my kids, I've got kids in their 20s. At the time, they were 20, 21, 27, 28, okay? 2 boys, 2 younger boys, 2 older girls, all single. And as time went on, because I had this place for probably a year before I did anything with it, and they heard about it, and they go, Dad, we heard you got a bar. I'm like, yeah, I got one. And so, you know,
Which probably wasn't. I mean, since you've got so many properties, they probably didn't. You didn't probably talk about each one individually. It's like,
you know, a lot of times they wouldn't even know what I had.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But you know, they had really wanted. We really didn't have anything to talk about since they were 10 years old. So now all of a sudden, I was the center of attention. I love that. Right?
As every dad does.
As every dad
Right,
does.
yeah.
All of a sudden, I'm on the top of my game. So we had something to talk about, you know. And they're like, Dad, we should open a bar. I'm like, yes, we should open a bar. So it became a family project. I actually never wanted to open. I just like talking about it.
That's really cool. Right. Yeah.
But eventually, well, what happened was, it started looking so good, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I discovered that behind this paneling and these plaster walls were this beautiful brick.
Which you think, why would anybody put paneling and plaster over this? But
Well, because in the old days, that's what they did.
That's what you did,
They
right,
plastered them. And it's all crooked. I mean, it looks like a bunch of drunken bricklayers in there, you know. It's all going every which way.
Right.
But it looks
Character.
Good. It looks character.
right. Yeah.
So, and then I found, discovered that there was another ceiling above this ceiling, and it was the old metal ceiling. So I restored that. I couldn't help myself. You know, I restored that. I restored the brick. And then I was like, I got a hold of this cabinet maker of mine, and I said, hey, we're going to build a bar. And he goes, okay, let me come over. And he looked at it, and he was like, the actual physical bar, you know. I
Right.
told him, I kind of sketched what I wanted to do, and he's like, well, let me get it figured up and get back to you. I go, no, we're just gonna do it, and when we get done, then you can bill me, because I know what I want. We're just gonna do it. Don't worry about it.
Not worried about price.
Not worried about the price. So it ended up just turning into like a piece of just some artwork. I really like it.
Right.
So we did a lot of oak, and the oak floors, and it just turned out really nice.
Well, it's a beautiful spot. But obviously that's only part of the equation. You got to have the rest of it too, the food. And
I had no idea. Hadn't been in the business for 20 years. Okay, so the business had changed. I thought, but one thing I wanted to do is, Brenda and I had been down to Nashville, and I'd never been to Nashville. And we were down there. When I was down there, we were in this place called Tootsie's, which is a very popular place.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking, and then as you go to these places in Nashville, they all have, they're mainly buildings just like Jerseyville, just shotgun buildings, and they're all shotgun bars. They have a stage either at the entrance or at the end,
mm-hmm.
and a long bar usually, just like us. And I'm like, wow, I think I could just build a Nashville bar.
Right.
So we put a small stage at the end, and we put in-house lighting and sound, like they do it. So that way musicians can come in, they plug in and go. They don't have to bring any equipment. So we have, live entertainment Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, either solos or duos, some trios, but it's a small stage.
So not overpowering.
No, we seat 75 inside,
mm-hmm.
50 out on the patio.
Right.
So it's low key, like me, low key.
Right, yeah.
But
would your kids say that, or?
Yeah, they'd say that.
Okay. The first thing that struck me about it, one of the first time I ate there was, man, this is a really good steak here in Jerseyville, Illinois. So
yeah, and I thought, you go into a business, what you think and what really happens are
mm-hmm.
usually maybe close, but not usually the same.
Right.
And I thought, okay, we'll sell drinks, we'll sell beers, and we'll pack the place, and we'll have a little bit of food, have some good food, limited menu. We'll sell a little bit of food, but nothing. But the food took off.
Right.
I couldn't believe how today, in 20 years, how people like to eat out,
Yeah, that's true.
And so we got together with our purveyor. Having been through this before, I knew the trials and tribulations of a restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
And I just knew that I wanted to do something simple. And I actually have a friend of mine who's in the Dairy Queen business. He's been in it for 30 years. And I said, Kevin, I go, I need you to help me out on this food thing. He goes, I don't know. I go, come on, man. And then he kept just putting me off. He goes, why do I want to help you in the food business and be my competition? I go, come on. So finally one day he calls me up and he goes, gourmet burgers. I go, what? He goes, gourmet burgers. I go, what do you mean gourmet burgers? He goes, in the bar you do gourmet burgers and fries. I go, how about pizza? No. I go, how about chicken? No. How about salads? No. Just gourmet burgers. I go.
And fries.
And fries.
Right, yeah.
So I go, okay. So we have our family meeting, and I tell everybody, Brenda and 4 kids, okay, this is what we're going with. Gourmet burgers and fries, and that's it. Of course, that got shot down.
Right, yeah.
But we did go to, we went to our purveyor, our food purveyor, and they have this in-house kitchen with in-house chef, okay? And we tell them the menu that we're thinking. We're thinking some gourmet burgers. We want to do a couple salads. We want to do a pizza, just limited. We haven't even got to steaks yet.
Right.
And so the chef puts it all together. We got 5 burgers. We got a chicken sandwich. We got a few things. And then he makes it for us, and we eat it. We sample, and we go, we like this, no, not this,
Right.
So, and that's how we put our menu together. And then my brother Jeff Lorton has the Aries Winery. Okay, we're opening in January, in the middle of January. That's slow for him.
Sure.
Okay, so he loaned me 3 of his chefs when we opened. I had my own people, but he put his people to help my people. So for the first few weeks, we had some experienced people, and so we got off to a good start.
Right.
Otherwise, you can crash and burn in a hurry. So
because a lot of people are going to come visit you in that first 3 weeks and try out. So
yeah, and then you're not ready. And,
right.
And so we were fortunate to be ready, or pretty close to ready, and we've improved since then. But then the food kicked off good, and a couple of and one thing is, I wasn't hiring any chefs, okay? I didn't want chefs. I know he's got some, but I didn't want any.
Right.
I just wanted to have a system, and I wanted to have my people be able to do the system, because if you get a chef, then all of a sudden the chef, he's deciding everything.
Or experimenting.
Yeah, and then when he goes on a 3-day drunk like most chefs do, and then they don't show up, then you're in trouble. So, I wanted a system. So we put together the system. So I have these college guys, these college young boys going to college, and those guys, if they don't know anything, if they don't want to know something, they Google it, they get on and they learn it by video.
Right.
So they were saying, "Hey, Chris, we want to do some steaks." I go,
I don't know.
It's expensive. You ruin steaks. Steaks get called back.
Right.
Burgers one thing. Steak, I don't know. You guys, and they go, "Come on, we can do it." I'm like, "Okay." Well, we tried it, and they got it down, and after a little bit of trial and error, what we've come down to, again, it's a system. We use a local store that's had a butcher shop since 1940, and that's Sinclair's Grocery. And every morning I call in how many steaks we want, whether we're doing strips or fillets, or we do a butterfly pork chop. And we get this, all the meat, and we get it fresh daily, delivered. That's what we start our day with. Produce from Steckles Grocery, or Steckles Produce down the street, and they deliver our produce. So, we're getting Georgia's local brew.
Right.
We try to do local as much as possible.
Sure.
And that pays off.
Well, all that adds up to a spectacular product. It's a great atmosphere, great food, and I love the fact that it's such a family business. And it sounds like it's really brought you guys back together.
Yeah, it is. And
not that you were necessarily apart, but just gave you something to talk about, as you said.
The nice thing about it is, it's one thing to go on a family vacation, with your family, and you can help them with their homework or whatever. But in something like this, everybody can contribute, and it's real, a real project. This is real. We know immediately if we're successful.
Right.
Some things work, some things don't. So I've always thought that the bar business and the restaurant business is a great, it's a great way to learn how to do business. If in that business, if you mess up, 5 minutes later you got a brand new customer to talk to. You'll get it right.
Feedback. You'll
get it right.
That's true.
So,
That's true.
So it's been good for the kids.
Well, we really appreciate you coming on. If somebody wants to visit George's, where do they go?
They go to downtown Jerseyville, 205 South State Street. Can't miss us.
I like I said in the commercial, they're thinking of changing the name to Steak Street.
Yes,
because of
that's
you.
right. I
So,
like that.
all right.
Steak Street.
Chris, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate
Best of
it.
luck.
Thanks for watching the Business Over a Brew podcast. For more video of me drinking free beer with some of the Riverbend's most interesting and influential business leaders, visit altondailynews.com and click on the podcast page. To enjoy a great meal with great food, great service, and great atmosphere, visit Great Rivers Tap and Grill inside the Best Western Premier in Alton. Check out some of their new menu items at greatriverstapandgrill.com.